Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time here on this Monday, September the 23rd. Hopefully you've had some time now to process, to digest all the bad vibes that your football team left you with yesterday when last we met on this live stream program. But tonight we are going to talk about the number one thing the Titans must fix, absolutely, unequivocally must fix to be able to actually win a football game, and not just Monday night in Miami, but the only sustainable way that this particular team is going to be able to win football games this year. You're going to hear from Brian Callahan. He gave a press conference earlier in the day. We're also going to talk about the first potential IR stint for a player in season. Holy hell, Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase for a touchdown on Monday Night Football. Bengals don't seem interested in joining the Titans in the 0-3 club. They take a 6-0 lead, 41 yards through the air for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase in front of the home crowd. That's the other thing that we're keeping an eye on for you tonight. We got a Monday Night Football doubleheader. It's currently 13-3, Bills over the Jags. So the Jags may join you in the 0-3 club. In fact, those two teams may be the only winless teams by the time that we're done talking about football this evening. But the Bengals do not want to go quietly into that dark night, and they are taking a 7-0 lead right now with the extra point up, away, and good. So we are going to dive into fixable mistakes for this particular football team, because there is one thing that they absolutely, unequivocally must fix before any of their next competitions. And then the injured reserve moment, like I mentioned, though no player has officially been placed on IR yet, there is one that is expected or likely to go on injured reserve. And then Bert will come in here because he's got his tinfoil hat on. He's got NFL conspiracy theories that he needs to get off his chest. So we will patiently await that at the end of the show. Before we get into tonight's topics, we need you guys to share the program around on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. In the comment section, no matter where you are spending your time with us, we appreciate you doing so, but we also appreciate when you share the broadcast. If you're hanging out on Facebook, you can share now to public. That's in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. If you're on Twitter, you can retweet the show. It's in the bottom right. YouTube, Twitch, like the video, subscribe to the channel while you're there, and we will enjoy the company of not just you, but potentially more of your friends as you share the broadcast around. And once you've done that, more of you guys will trickle in here, and we'll get this thing up and rolling. In the meantime, welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time. Major Key says, weird, I didn't get a notification. Yeah, YouTube's been giving me a hard time with the notifications lately, and I'm not crazy about that. So that is less than ideal. But that's more important that you share the show, because if you didn't get a notification, it's likely that other people didn't get a notification. And we can't fix YouTube, but we can take the onus upon ourselves. Text a buddy the link if you feel like you're missing some of your friends here, or DM it to them, and we will continue to grow the broadcast. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time from the Zen Sports Studios. I'm your host, Buck Rising. I'm proud, as always, to be presented to you by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Go to Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com for more information. TrueMap Fitness in the Gulch, where your first workout is free as a Middle Tennessee resident. No workout ever recycled or repeated, just the best in the business at TrueMapFitness.com. And Zen Sports, where you can get up to $100 on your no-danger first wager. Terms and conditions do apply. Bet on all your favorite major sports in the Zen Sports app with that promo code ATOZTN. Brian Callahan, his press conference earlier today. Many things being discussed. But the number one thing the Titans must fix to win football games is, of course, the place that we're going to start. Mikey says, sign Chris Hubbard. That's, I guess, the question, your Two Rivers Ford take, as we get this thing off and rolling. What is the most fixable thing that the Titans have on what is the most fixable thing about the Titans right now is the question to you. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, or what rather is the number one thing the Titans must fix to win football games? Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. Mikey says, sign Chris Hubbard. Well, Chris Hubbard is technically available to you. Chris Hubbard is on the practice squad of the San Francisco 49ers, Titans legend. Chris Hubbard, who honestly would have beaten NPF out for the right tackle job had he not been suspended for gambling, and then played good football and was a solid, he wasn't a great, but he was a solid right tackle for this team before an injury ultimately ended up ending his season in, I guess that was last year, in 2023. So Hubbard, I don't know if he's going to fix all your problems, but you have a right tackle problem, and Chris Hubbard could be a potential solution. So we will see what the viability of their solutions are, what the possibilities that they present are, because they are going to have an extra day to kind of get things in front of them, get ahead of some of their issues, and try and figure out as much of their problems as humanly possible. Steve Jones says it's the offensive line. Stephen King says sign David Bakhtiari. No, thank you. David Bakhtiari hasn't been a functional NFL football player in, at least 2 seasons at this point. And your left tackle is the only redeeming quality of this offensive line right now. Turns out that's the one thing that you appear to have gotten right. All J.C. Latham has done is get better. I am not concerned about the Titans' left tackle position. The right tackle position, of course, is very concerning. Major Keys says the most fixable will be keeping Levis in. All this money I'm spent that we're confused that we're going to be picking top 10. Isn't Hubbard on the Niners? Yeah, he's on their practice squad. So you would have to sign him to the active roster, but, he's available for anybody to scoop off the practice squad, unless I don't think they still do practice squad protections. I should probably know that. That was a thing during COVID, but I would have to double check. Patrick Bert says Radens is playing solid, Buck. That's not true at all. Radens has been terrible in 2 games and solid in 1 game. So I guess 1 out of 3 ain't bad. If you're playing the percentages, a 33% chance of success. But Dylan Radens, the right side of the offensive line is not good objectively. It's not just NPF. Even though Skoronski was the player who was credited with allowing the most pressures in this game. But yeah, don't tell me that Radens is playing solid when he's out there getting ragdolled. He's just not powerful enough. He's not strong enough to be out there against some of these defensive linemen, and it shows on a regular basis. He is regularly a part of the problem. Darren Ossie says, Buck, we have the worst turnover ratio in the league? Question mark. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. What's the number one thing that this team must fix to win football games? The answer, kids, is the turnover differential.
What's the number one thing got to get done to start winning football games?
Not turn the ball over. That's clear as can be. We're last in the league in turnover margin. We're -7. And that doesn't count the block punts. So that's, to me, in my mind, that's -9 in 3 games. Of those 7 turnovers on offense, 14 points directly went back the other way. One of the punts directly went back the other way, so that's 21 points. I think we've lost 2 games by 7 points and 1 by 16, and there's your margin. That's a really, really hard thing to overcome, the volume and the frequency of them and how crushing they've been. If even that sack fumble, we're on the 30-yard line. It's a 2-score game. It's even if we get a field goal there, or at least it's a 10-point game at the top of the 4th quarter, and it feels a little bit different. But then we get sack fumbled and the ball gets turned over again. So, and then we haven't gotten a single turnover on defense through 3 games, which is I've not seen that very often. They just can't get it to break our way right now. Can't get the ball out. Part of that's because in this game they were able to control it pretty well. But yeah, if you want to look at one single thing right now that's getting in the way of us winning football games, that's turning the ball over. And most of the teams down there with us in the margins, if they're down at -7, 5, 4, 3, most of those guys are probably 1-2, 0-3, whatever that looks like. So the turnover statistics in the NFL are glaring. It's not a mystery. You're in a plus. You're well into the plus. You're usually a playoff team, and you're deep in the minuses. You're usually not very, very good. And that's just the way it is. So,
in talking to various guys about the different.
So that is Brian Callahan in his press conference today, speaking on the turnover differential. A to Z Sports Prime Time is presented by Gary Ashton, the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. Go to GaryAshton.com, the official real estate agent of me and of the Nashville Predators. The dream address without the stress is possible. Also, don't sell without the intel that only the Ashton team can provide. GaryAshton.com for more information. Brian Callahan hits the nail on the head. If he is not a good coach yet, perhaps he will be at some point in his tenure. Right now, he's winless, so it looks pretty bleak. But at least he is transparent and, aware of the thing that is their biggest bugaboo. 7 turnovers. 7 turnovers on offense without a single takeaway on defense. Again, the stats on Levis specifically, and you can blame Levis for some of them. I don't think you are fair to blame Levis for all of them, but I would be okay with you blaming Levis for most of them, because a fumble was not on him on Sunday, nor was the second interception. That's just a desperation heave. That's them just trying to make something happen at the end of a game that's out of hand. So I do not pin that second interception on Levis. The first one, obviously, the pick six, directly attributed to him, and also the pick six in Chicago, and the other 2 fumbles that he's lost, because he's lost a fumble in every game. But part of that is protection, and we are aware of that. So all turnovers require context. But doesn't matter how the ball gets turned over if you're not the one recovering it, and the Titans have not been able to recover from their turnover differential. -7 is a death sentence. This is really, really problematic, especially when you have the defense on a turnover drought the way that they are. Looks down like a touchdown, potentially touchdown Washington. We'll see where they rule him. Might be down just shy of the goal line there. Yeah, they're going to mark him like what? Inches shy of the goal line, it would appear. But Washington pressing. Cincinnati's defense not very good this year. Either way, by the way, the Bills are smacking the Jags. I don't know if the Bengals are going to join you in the 0-3 club, but the Jags definitely are at this point. With everything that's happening, though, the Titans cannot win football games and be expected to sustain any kind of momentum, any kind of offensive progress if they continue to turn the ball over at this rate. Levis has, let's pull up the numbers, right? He's lost a fumble in every game. He has 4 interceptions on the season. It is a problem for them, because even when they are playing good football, either the offensive line, he has 5 interceptions, 4 touchdowns against 5 interceptions, an 0-3 record, of course. He is now 3-12 as a starting quarterback. He's completing 68% of his passes, north of 68% of his passes, which is an improvement, but his yards per attempt are down. And of course, his quarterback rating is significantly down from last year. Turnovers are not sustainable, and that is the thing that is killing this team the most. They are also not creating turnovers, which is a problem. Now, the thing about the turnovers on defense, I don't want them out there pressing to try and hunt turnovers, right? There's the touchdown for the Commies. The Washington Commies find the end zone. Looks like Brian Robinson Jr. With a 1-yard rush to get them, or to try and draw them even. That's a 10-play, 70-yard drive for the Commies on the road. Look at them. Looking pretty sharp under Jaden Daniels. He looks like the most impressive rookie quarterback so far. I know it's early, but still. With everything going on with the Titans, the turnover drought for the defense is brutal. They cannot press, though. They cannot be out there hunting turnovers. They just have to continue to rep whatever it is that they're repping in practice. They have to continue to put themselves in position. But I don't want them out there hunting turnovers that way, because then all of a sudden you have guys making mistakes like Christian Fulton, right? You're pressing. You're playing out of position. You're not focusing solely on the job that you're out there to do. A part of your job is also to create turnovers, but you don't want to put yourself out of position. You don't want to compromise yourself because you feel that urgency. You feel that need to press. Now, play within the concept of the scheme, or play within the scope of the scheme, and the turnovers will come eventually, though it is crazy that they cannot sniff a single turnover as a defense this year. Anthony M. says if we had just not won a worthless-ass game at the end of last year, we would have gotten the best offensive line in the draft, the best OL in the draft. Stupid AF. Well, of course, the only thing, it's not stupider. That's not grammatically correct. The only thing more stupid than that logic, Anthony, because I believe that to be completely foolish, is it's utterly nonsensical. You wouldn't have leapfrogged the Chargers. Like, I don't know what you have confused about the draft order last year, but you would have gotten the Giants pick. Now, maybe you get Malik Neighbors instead of J.C. Latham. That's not necessarily the bad thing. But Anthony, he's really good, J.C. Latham. In fact, he's showing a lot more promise than most rookie left tackles do. He's the best graded player on your offensive line, according to Pro Football Focus. And again, not that this is relevant, but Joe Alt is going to miss some time, it sounds like, with an MCL sprain today. So your logic is incorrect. Your logic is nonsensical. And if you're still clinging to that and you're still blaming Mike Vrabel or Ryan Tannehill or whomever was associated with last year's team that's no longer here for, in your words, it was a worthless game. It didn't mean anything, but it didn't affect your ability to draft Joe Alt. If you're somebody who's talked themselves into that, you're ignorant about how the draft order was actually decided, because that Jags game had nothing to do with your draft order. Again, you would have moved up one spot, not two. You would not have leapfrogged the Chargers. And two, they were going to take either of the tackles that were there, whether it was Alt, whether it was Latham. They needed an offensive lineman, and turns out both of them are pretty good. And the one that you got is holding up his end of the bargain. It's utterly ridiculous for anybody to continue to cling to that. It's coping. It's coping or it's stupidity. And I don't know which one is worse, because I don't have patience for either of them at this point. I'm going to calm down because I can see my neck veins showing, and I don't want to get too worked up over something stupid, because it's nonsensical and wasted too much time with it already. DeMar Hamlin intercepts Trevor Lawrence. Very cool, says Demetrius Conwell on Facebook Live. I have the Bengals Commies game on right now. I will flip over to see what is going on between the Jags and the Bills. The problem with the Jacksonville Jaguars is worse than what's going on with the Titans, because at least you're not paying your quarterback $55 million a year to suck out loud. Anyway, Darren Ossie says, you want anger? Go watch Angry Titans fans on YouTube. I got videos yesterday. What do I care about Angry Titans fans on YouTube? I do a 3-hour radio show, an hour here. If I want Angry Titans fans, I'll check my Twitter mentions. Or I'll just ask you, are you angry? And most of you will tell me yes. So no, I don't care about Angry Titans fans yelling into the darkness, into the nothingness on Twitter. or on wherever social media platform. There are plenty of those in my life. I don't need additionals. So with everything else going on right now, injured reserve is a possibility. Nothing has been made official yet, but there is one player that might be expected that might land on the IR here in the very, very near future. And I will tell you who that possibility is here in just a second, right after I remind you the Primetime program is made possible by Zen Sports. Download the app, plug in the promo code ATOZTN, get up to $100 on your no danger first wager. Terms and conditions do apply. Must be 21 plus and in the state of Tennessee to bet. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789 at Zen Sports. Okay, so how you feel about your secondary depth right now? Because it looks like it's about to get you look like you're about to get hit with the injury bug for the first time this year. Now, you've had much better injury luck through the first 3 weeks of football than just about any other team. Brian Callahan disclosed a couple of injuries today, but one of the most important ones is Chido Awuzie, who is dealing with a different injury. He missed training camp with a calf. Sounds like he's going to miss some time with a groin. He has not officially been placed on IR yet, though there is some level of expectation that he might be.
Possibility for Cheeto?
Definitely a possibility, yeah.
Who are some guys you expect to step up in his absence?
Jarvis.
Yep.
Jarvis has to come. Jarvis has got to play a little bit as he got hurt. But yeah, Jarvis will be the one filling in for him. We'll obviously have to elevate a DB. Probably Trey Avery will get moved up. So we'll see. There's a couple different ways and to see how that's going to shake out. But yeah, we're going to have guys step up.
As you look at where your team is, and I'm sure there are a number of things you want to fix, what's the number one thing got to get done to start winning football games?
No, I'm not.
Well, we've already played that clip, so we don't want to get too far down that rabbit hole again. But Chido Awuzie, the expectation is that he is going to go on injured reserve. So right now for Chido, it has been tough sledding. He had his worst game as a tackler against the Chicago Bears. He has been solid on the whole throughout the course. It's about on par with what we have come to expect from Chido Awuzie. Again, Pro Football Focus metrics are not the end-all be-all, but as a player so far through 3 games, he is graded out with grades of 67.1, 67.2. Against the Packers was his worst overall grade as a defender, 54.9. His worst coverage grade as a defender also 49.1, though he played only 16 total snaps in that game. 41 in week 1, 53 in week 2. He was in and out of the lineup pretty consistently. He is allowing a reception rate of 50% right now, 29 yards and 3 receptions. Six times he has been targeted, 3 times players have caught receptions on him. So again, that 50%, and allowing 29 yards total. He has not surrendered a touchdown yet this year, though Mike Williams did have that big catch on him, which is just, it's a mismatch. Mike Williams is significantly bigger than Cheeto Awuzie. That's a receiver just going up, high pointing the ball, something I wish Traylon Burks would do from time to time, but refuses to, or at least refuses to catch with his hands as opposed to with his body. So with everything going on, Jarvis Brownley Jr. is going to be the guy that fills in for you. And again, Trey Avery, Titans legend, probably about to step up into some role in some form or fashion. Now, Jarvis Brownley got taken for a ride against the Packers. Malik Willis had his number, and he was not effective as a tackler, as a just general defender, or in coverage. 51.4, it was a better grade than Awuzie, but a 25.4 grade in terms of his tackling, and an overall grade of 43.3 on 31 total defensive snaps. Not an ideal situation. He's a 5th-round corner for a reason. He's a 5th-round rookie for a reason. So we'll see what ends up happening there. The question is, what is your level of confidence in this Titans secondary on a scale of 1 through 10? I'll get your number here in just a second, right after I remind you that the Primetime program is made possible by TrueMav Fitness in the Gulch. Go to TrueMavFitness.com for your first workout free. As a Middle Tennessee resident, no workout recycled or repeated. Just go to TrueMavFitness.com and get the best workout here in Middle Tennessee. Darren Ossie says a 6. John McDaniel says a 7. Pretty confident right now in the rookie 5th-round pick. Anytime one of your starting corners goes down, it's bad news bears, right? Like this is not a situation that a lot of teams are equipped to survive, but I do like Brownlee. I think that he has the potential to be a solid rotational player. I don't know if he's ever going to turn into a top-line starter or if he's got the kind of Snead trajectory that we talk about, where L'Jarius Snead was a 4th-round pick. There are a lot of similarities in their style of play and their aggression, but Snead obviously has succeeded and continued to develop at the professional level that we don't know that Brownlee is capable of, but, we're going to get the opportunity to find out. It sounds like, that's a touchdown right through the hands of a Bills wide receiver. That is disgusting. Oh, no, that was the running back, Cook. That could have broken this open to 27-3 as opposed to 20-3 right now, just right through the hands of James Cook. Outstretched arms, very, very Traylon Burks-esque. Would have been a walk-in touchdown for him there. Devin Mills says, I don't know that Brownlee has the size to play outside. Let's take a look at what his measurables are. He's 6 foot 190. I mean, how big is Snead? Let me double check. Again, he's listed as 6 foot 190. I mean, that's as big as Cheeto. Yeah, Snead is 6'1", 192. So I don't know that size has any relevancy. And here's a solid, well-built corner. I don't know, whether or not he looks smaller on television, perhaps, than you might otherwise see. But yeah, he's legitimate. I mean, he's not a carbon copy of L'Jarius Snead, because that would indicate that he's a much better player. But physically, he is a carbon copy of L'Jarius Snead. And also, he has that same pit bull type of attitude. He's a dog out there, absolutely. In the same way that many of you want NPF to try and find that dog in him, Jarvis Brownlee hasn't. He is absolutely a player that plays with bad intentions and the kind of DAWG acronym that Denard Wilson likes to see from his defensive backs. Devin says, I saw him at camp. Well, I mean, the average male is under 6 foot. So Jarvis Brownlee, an above average size male, and, about a stand, actually bigger than the average NFL corner right now. 6 foot 190 is, again, pretty solidly built. Major Key says, Buck, are they trying to raise Traylon Burks stock and trade him? Because where is NWI? Well, imagine a team. Imagine what team would watch Traylon Burks in any of his 3 seasons as a professional NFL wide receiver, allegedly, and say, yeah, that's a guy that I want. I mean, I wouldn't even give up a 7th-round pick for him. Here's the thing. You know Traylon Burks, right? You've seen Traylon Burks for 3 years. You know who hasn't? Your coaching staff. They've got to learn. They have to learn that this is a player that cannot be trusted to make routine catches, and that NWI is the superior player. And that there is, 1st-round picks always get many, many chances unless you're Caleb Farley or Isaiah Wilson. And even Isaiah Wilson got the opportunity to get traded for a 7th-round pick to the Miami Dolphins. And he even then got another opportunity with the New York Giants. So somebody will take a chance on Traylon Burks, but not for assets. Nobody is trading for Traylon Burks right now. He's playing because your coaching staff doesn't know any better yet. And soon your coaching staff will find out that he is not a player that can be relied upon on a consistent basis. And Tyke Tolbert told us last week that he was their highest graded wide receiver, which is laughable, given that he has 2 catches on the season for 11 yards. I understand that route running and drawing the defense away from the underneath routes and blocking for Calvin Ridley on a touchdown and all these other things that wide receivers are tasked with doing, that's all well and good. But he's a former first-round pick. He's playing a lot of snaps. Get NWI out there. I can see him. He can make all the blocks that Traylon Burks can, and he can catch the ball more consistently than Traylon Burks can. So let's not be ridiculous about the idea of shopping Traylon Burks. That's wishful thinking at this point. But if they're godforsaken come the trade deadline, I'd be curious to see if anybody calls him about Hop. I would hate that. I really, really would hate that unless it's to a team that is going to provide him the opportunity to win something of consequence this year, because it doesn't look like that he's going to do it here. I just think that he's been such a good soldier about everything that, if he wants to be here, then maybe some consideration should be given to that. We'll see. I don't know if people are going to call about DeAndre Hopkins, given the state of his injury, but he looked just fine to me on Sunday. B. Fred says, oh, hell, Traylon Burks should have caught 10 passes yesterday, 100 receiving yards and a couple touchdowns. Yeah, but he didn't. So, them's the breaks. As the former disgraced Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Boris Johnson, once said on his way out the door. Bills are a wagon. They're up 27-3. Jags about to join you in the 0-3 club right now. Bengals doing their best to stave off that stench of 0-3. They are tied 7-all with the Commanders, 14:51 left to go in that particular game. We welcome in now Bert, who will give us his in case you missed it. Perhaps he'll put a smile on our face. Perhaps he'll make us laugh. Probably not intentionally, but we'll find out together. What you got, Bert?
Probably not intentionally.
You've never once made me laugh on purpose.
That's a lie.
No, you're accidentally funny. Don't fool yourself into thinking that you're actually funny. You're accidentally funny.
Okay, that's fine. Well, whatever. I wanted to talk to you about some conspiracy theories if you're game for that.
Sure am.
So my biggest problem with the Kansas City Chiefs is they suck, and Travis Kelce's a bitch. I don't know if I can say that. Am I allowed to say that?
Oh, you've done it. It's too late.
I'm going to get in trouble now. But the big thing about the Chiefs...
I won't tell if you don't, chat. I won't tell if you don't.
Don't.
Famously, don't.
Don't narc.
Don't be a narc. That's the rare time that you're going to have me and Bert on the same page about anything. Don't narc.
Kansas City Chiefs. They're on a tear. Last night beating the Atlanta Falcons. But there was a questionable call in the end zone. Pass interference play that was horrendous. That should have been called. And it seems like this happens every week for the Chiefs. In fact, when I looked it up, they are the least penalized team in the NFL. Is that by sheer Andy Reid dominance over this team? Oh, we're going to play good for coach. No, I don't think so. I think this is a little leaning. The Kansas City Chiefs next week opponent. Are you familiar?
I believe it's the Los Angeles Chargers.
You would be correct. You would be correct. They suffered a lot of injuries at the hand of the Steelers. Tough game, physical game. Both of their tackles are injured. Justin Herbert left the game with an injury. But one thing they picked up in this game, non-injury related, was a suspension. Suspension by one of their best defenders, Derwin James. I pulled the clip. Let's take a look and see if you guys think this is a penalty worthy.
18-yarders. Both of them have been on James.
Ow! Definitely a penalty. 100% a penalty, 100% a fine. He's probably going to get a call from somebody this week that's like, hey, why'd you try to kill that guy? Make the check out to N, big F, big L, $100,000. But it's a single game suspension.
18-yarders. Both of them have been on James.
Pie-ow!
So that's his second one of the game.
His second hit like that, correct.
Okay. Bert.
Oh my God! It's the NFL. People
it's
die.
Robert, he hit him in the jaw. What do
People
you mean?
bump their heads bending over at their desk on accident. He could have hit him in the jaw accidentally. It's a brutal game.
If I did not know that hit was his second infraction in that game alone, that absolutely changes the conversation.
Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. He could have done it 10 times. I don't care. They're playing the Chiefs. You would think the NFL would want the best matchup, the best players, the best competition, but they don't. They don't. They want one thing, and they want a Kansas City Chiefs three-peat. Can I put my tinfoil hat on a little harder for you?
Please.
Why would they want to suspend Derwin James?
Well, because that features to be the most significant player in coverage against a player for the Kansas City Chiefs who is yet to get meaningfully involved in the offense and who also happens to be dating the most famous woman on earth.
Shut up. Don't say that.
Did I do the tinfoil hat thing right?
Oh, my God. They want to give Travis Kelce a big game.
It feels like it.
And if you think I'm wrong,
all the stars are aligning for these woebegone Chiefs. God forbid they ever get a break or they get a break at any point in the NFL season. No, this is setting up very, very nicely for Travis Kelce to break onto the scene in spectacular fashion because even though scoring is down, they can still salvage the Swiftie numbers.
Because it's going to be huge when he gets down and he says, Taylor, will you marry me? And she's going to go, oh, my God.
After catching a touchdown pass with the backup safety and coverage, yes. Yeah, that's good.
You, babe, it's you. Oh, my God. Can't stand them. Get them out of here. Suspend them for the rest of the year. Hope nothing injury-wise happens to them. Hopefully they're healthy, but they just have terrible gambling luck, terrible podcast luck, terrible entrepreneurial luck, anything but their health. Hopefully they're very healthy and poor.
That's your contribution for the evening?
Bye.
All right, very good. That's going to do it for us tonight. Here on the Primetime Program, radio show tomorrow. A lot of Vols talk tomorrow on the radio show. We will be talking about an actually good football team. I can't escape bad football here on Primetime because Primetime is an exclusively Titans show, and my job, my whole reason for existence is because I'm a Tennessee Titans reporter, so I will not be able to shirk all of my Titans-related responsibilities, but I can for 3 hours today, and I will do so tomorrow because I'd rather talk about good football than bad football. Have a great rest of your evening. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
Go home! Go home! Go home! You're embarrassing Nashville! Go home!